Hey guys, what's going on? Chris Fluck here. Today, this is Chris Fluck Podcast, episode 7, I believe. I got Frank Donley back on here. It's kind of like half Q&A, half training, and that's about it here. So, first things first, Frank, what have you been doing in the gym, man? What are you working on?
Recently moved down to training 3 days a week. I'm doing squatting and deadlifting 2 days a week. One day, kind of like more max effort, and then vice versa, and then getting some volume in like 5 sets of 10, and then doing upper body 1 day a week. Before I went to Mexico, I was doing more like 5 days a week, and 3 days a week's tough, man. Like training association wise, it's like hard for me not to train some days.
Why'd you switch? Why 3?
I think it's just good to do different things sometimes.
What are you doing on those off days?
I try to do like a little bit of recovery stuff. I'll do a little bit of mobility work. My ankle mobility's trash. Get a couple pretzels in. Just move a little bit. Nothing. More like waves of intensity, low intensity stuff. I'm not getting on the foam roller.
All right, man. We have a foam rolling debate going on here at the gym.
I've been on a foam roller in about a year. I feel pretty supple.
Yeah, we got an intern, Corey. The intern is he's hammering out the foam roller like 25 minutes a day probably.
At least.
But
22-year-old kid.
So what about this the weather situation? Are you getting outside?
Nah.
Nothing.
Seasonal depression setting in hard. February we're almost out of though. We're gonna make it through. We're gonna make it through.
I think we're in March in 2 days.
Yeah, so we're almost there.
All right, man. What about getting into these workouts? You do anything to get yourself prepared? Pre-workout, post-workout? What are we working on here?
I'm talking as far as pre-workout, post-workout.
Yeah, you do anything prior
to warm? I mean,
obviously like warming up and stuff. You take any supplements or anything before you get going?
Yeah, sometimes I use a pre-workout, and sometimes I use just coffee. Slug an extra cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's
pre-workout. Post-workout is kind of not what I used to like believe in that like anabolic window. Like as soon as you can, you gotta get calories in the body.
Yeah.
Like because you're so catabolic, you're gonna lose all your muscle gains. Blah blah blah. But since I switched over to the IF, the intermittent fasting stuff, I just let it ride. Depends on what day it is. So
what about? You're looking at breaking your fast with certain foods. Are you concerned?
I currently am. Yeah, correct.
Concerned about training while fasted, and then maybe not having an opportunity to eat or get some calories in after the workout? Do you worry about that?
Am I concerned about it?
Yeah.
No, not anymore. I'm not.
There was a guy.
As far as breaking your fast, I think depending, people do intermittent fasting for different ways.
Yeah.
So you could use it to, lose body fat is a huge one probably, health reasons, and building muscle. So depending on what your goals are, I think you should break a fast certain way. But as far as, riding it after a workout, as long as you're have been fasting for a while, I think you should work out during your fasting windows, and it creates a great response. And I think you can kind of ride that wave for a while.
There's this Mark Sisson. It's this Primal Blueprint book, but he's all about fasting. And his primal thing, I don't know if he was getting in the paleo game before paleo became a big term. He just called it primal. So eat these primal foods, and he sells a lot of stuff now. But he even said that there was some sort of positive growth hormone effect if you occasionally train and then pretty much don't consume calories after. And I don't know if it's just extra stressors on the body that it comes back stronger. I don't think he recommended doing it every day or regularly. And I don't remember the details either, even comment.
And that was growth factor, growth hormone?
I'm pretty positive it was. You have to look this up again.
Well, it kind of makes sense, though, because a lot of the things they say with fasting is if your testosterone and growth hormone levels are higher and then you eat, create an insulin spike, all that's going to diminish. So you're trying to keep those anabolic hormones in your body for longer periods of time.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see that.
Yeah. But going off too with, we might even hit some of these, right? We're going to probably intermittently get some questions going in here too. Just some people that come to the gym are wondering, Frank already touched about what he does pre-workout routine. Just in general, if somebody does come up to you and says, hey, I'm trying to, I don't know, I feel like most of the people are trying to just trim down, say, for the most part, boost strength, lose a little bit of weight. They ask you about a pre-workout. What do you think?
My big thing with supplementation in general is that it should be supplementation. So say someone's not necessarily looking at their food intake and what they're eating throughout the day.
Yeah.
So if you're living on McDonald's 3 times a day, should you be taking a supplement? Probably obviously not, dude. Until you get that in check, because it's not going to make that big of a difference, But if you, after a nutritional standpoint, if you're looking at fueling your body and implementing some other strategies, I think from a supplementation standpoint, I don't really push supplements super hard. Just because I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough to do that. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
To have a pre-workout supplement, I love caffeine. Pre-workout supplements, what are they? Caffeine, so there's stimulants in them.
Yeah.
I love being amped up. Bodybuilders like your dad or Arnold, there's nitric oxide in it, so gets more blood flow to lean muscle mass. So like as you're working out, like your digestive system and other systems in your body are going to like shut down. So like less blood is going to go to them. More blood's going to go to skeletal muscle that's functioning. So you're going to have like more of a chasing the pump effect if that's what you're into, but it's kind of dependent.
And I don't know, like
what else is in them? Amino
like
acids and some.
Amino acids. I mean, I was just thinking too. I think there's people that do fast, I feel like they almost recommend getting some of that in because it's some sort of protein, like I don't know if it's a protein synthesis or some sort of absorption. Where if you do consume some of that fasted, and then you do your workout, and then you take in more calories after, I think it like helps that process somehow. I never really messed with it myself, so I didn't look into it too much.
So on days that I work out fasted, I try not to break it with a pre-workout because I think amino acids will break a fast completely. So I wouldn't.
Makes
but
sense.
the only, I mean, we have a little bit different schools of thought, but I think amino acids can break a fast. So I would try not to on the days that I'm trying to work out fasted.
Yeah.
I would just drink coffee.
Right. No, yeah.
So like an extra
The
cup.
fast part of it, the fasting part doesn't. I mean, the question we got was just literally about pre-workout stuff, and I don't think. I mean, other than caffeine, I don't know if we really dabble in it too much. I never did ever, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I don't know why.
Just
I
never got
did.
into it.
No, especially when you see people like all jittery and they're all jacked up at the, like say we were back in the LA Fitness days, and it's like people are all jacked up, like shaking.
Give me some more crack, bro.
And then they're all itchy, and you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna avoid that.
Yeah, it's beta
situation.
alanine, whatever it's called. I think
yeah.
it makes your like face itchy and like you feel kind of like flush. Some people it makes them feel like their skin's growing and stuff.
And then I mean that's a pre-workout part of it. Let's say somebody like I got some early morning stuff, and so do you. Like, say it's 6:30 and people are done working out, or 7 o'clock, and they have 1 hour, and then they have to go to work, and they might not eat again until noon. They're looking for something to like
Post-workout wise?
Yeah, like maximize their nutrients or whatever.
So yeah, I mean, I used to be really big into like I would like protein shake after everything. You know, I would like make super shakes. I would put like protein, put some like kale in that sucker, like some kind of nut butter, like just a big calorie bomb.
Yeah, I think it's almost like you get some sort of nut or I would do.
So it's like all
macros,
like
almond milk.
protein, fat.
But you use whatever kind of base you want. Probably greens, probably some nut butter. What else you want to throw in there? I don't know if you want some oats or something, but you could probably.
If you're into that.
I've seen that done.
I don't really mess with oats anymore, but I used to.
Like I'll go with a little bit of oats, some banana, almond milk.
You're an oats guy.
Not really, but I would if maybe like
Steel
once.
cut?
Now I get this gluten-free down
Gluten-free,
there.
all right.
Fries in Hellertown.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I'm not on the gluten train right now. Yeah, so I do that. Some peanut butter, banana, almond milk.
Throw some creatine in there?
No.
I still thought you did. What do you think about creatine?
I don't know. Somebody was just talking about it. We had a visitor, and her husband was on it. So just pretty much, you get a pump, just floods the cells with water, right? Potentially.
Creatine?
Retain the water, yeah.
Yeah, the creatine and monohydrate, I think there's different forms, but I think the premise is like anabolic or like it's better obviously for like power and anaerobic exercise, but I believe you do like the weight gain associated initially is definitely with like flooding water because you retain more water.
But I think it's in the muscle cells. Like it's not necessarily your muscles are getting bigger; it's the cells that grow. If that makes sense.
So you're talking about like
the muscle size and the ability for it, or not the size.
Hyperplasia versus hypertrophy.
Maybe, yeah. Like, is the creatine situation just going to flood the cell, or does it actually make the muscle itself grow?
Both.
Okay.
I think it's related to hypertrophy, but acutely it's more like flooding it with water because as soon as you go off of it, you'll probably lose that weight as well.
Right.
But I think long term you would create more lean muscle mass, like chronically being on creatine monohydrate. It's probably the most studied supplement out there. There's like meta-analysis. It seems pretty safe. Creatine in general, like, is in meats we eat. I mean, and stuff like that. So
I only did a quick search too, but it's pretty much what you just said there too. With it's been the most studied over the long period of time. Like I even think in the 90s, I mean, people were using it then for sure.
5 to 10 grams a day. I mean, people have been on it for 20, 30 years.
2018, 2019.
Still big.
Yeah, it is. So it's been around.
Big in the bodybuilder community, big in, sports performance community.
So would you if you were taking that, would you want that before or after? If you were ripping some creatine in your
the supplement industry is like $1 billion industry, so it's like big pharma money. Like, so I think the recommendations are like 5 to 10 grams a day. I believe people doing 10 grams usually do 5 grams before, 5 grams after.
Is there some sort of build-up period?
There is a loading phase, I believe. From everything I've read, that's kind of like a trash, like just a way to sell more creatine.
So
I don't know if that's necessarily
double up on the dosage of first
even
couple
possibly
of sessions.
even more. Yeah, the loading phase, but I think that's just to like run through your bottle, so you got to buy more creatine.
All right.
It's sales, dude.
Yeah, I guess
you
so.
know?
And people believe what they want to believe. But anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it comes back to how you're feeling. Like if you're worried about recovery and all that stuff and you're not recovering properly, you might want to rethink your approach, and you're getting super sore and beat up. Something might be missing. It's either you're probably doing too much, maybe hitting it a little too hard. Like, I mean, the squat session.
Yeah.
I had some people come in this week too that did a squat they'd never done. Their legs have been sore for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And, you're not going to recover from like a new exercise if you attack it with 5 or 10 sets, 50 reps. I don't know. I mean, you were hurting earlier.
No, I've been there.
week, so,
Yeah.
So it
Sometimes
happens.
you gotta get stressed
So
out.
you
So I did a little
could have
extra
eaten
volume.
steak
Was
all
hurting.
day, steak, and taken every supplement on
I'd
the
still be
planet.
sore.
You still would have gotten sore. So
And it is what it is. Like,
It's gonna
it
happen.
could supplement your recovery. It's not going to do as much as sleeping 8 hours a night. It's not going to
True.
do as much as get enough calories,
sleep, stress,
So, all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. It's a way to bring it back.
Yeah.
So that's
Hey.
pretty much why we don't do a lot of supplements, I guess, right there. If you
Yeah.
put your focus on sleeping better,
Yeah.
keeping stress at a minimum, and
I do take some supplements.
I do
Horse
too. At night.
chestnut but I have vein issues. Whatever. It's a lot. Not to get into that.
Yeah, no. I always people ask what I take, and I always tell them nothing because I don't take
You
anything
take
around the
protein.
workouts.
So you can take protein?
Yeah, but not often. But then at nighttime, I take stuff every
plant-based
night.
protein.
I
use whey.
I actually had found a sunflower.
Some people say whey's
Base.
poison. How's that?
In that smoothie I was talking about, it's good. Put a scoop in there, and it like thickens it up, and it's
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
I guess
But,
if you're staying away from dairy, I don't really have any other dairy, so it is kind of weird I take whey because I think whey and casein proteins are both derivatives of dairy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect me the same.
That's fine.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know how people's, you back in the people take a lot of protein and their guts are rumbling and they might be
Running in
have
the bathroom.
some gastrointestinal distress. Might be the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Now we hit that stuff there. Then the other thing too, with the recovery, and then I found this too, like with the eating window that Frank was talking about. As long as, I don't know where I heard this, but I thought it made sense to me at the time, was that like if you're going to work out at noon on Wednesday, work out at noon on Thursday, you have like 24 hours to get this stuff. Basically, you have 24 hours to replenish everything that you just expended. So it's like, if you're only going to work out once a day and you're working out moderate to high intensities, you have pretty much 24 hours to kind of replenish and get the things that you need by the time your next session comes around. So, somebody asked too about working out more than once.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I mean, I get the replenishment thing, like you have a 24-hour cycle, but I think people need to start thinking more like macro too, like over the week. So like if I fast 20 hours and only get 2,000 calories in, and then one day I get 6,000 calories in, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's the end of the world to not hit your thing for one day.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're making like on the weekends, I eat more calories because I don't work as much, so like I eat more food.
Right.
Whereas on a Monday, I like try to grind all day and then have some bone broth or whatever to break my fast, and then smash like one big meal.
Now I have a similar approach too with Maurice's horse equestrian season getting busy. I'm like, when I'm with Emmy on the weekends or baby, I'm just like, there's no point to even eating.
Yeah.
Because you're so occupied with
Yeah,
a
busy,
11-month-old.
yeah.
So I'm just like, if I'm going to fast, it's going to be every
Productivity, man.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Because then if I don't fast,
Growing
then I'm going to
stronger
go get
America.
then I'm going to go get some takeout somewhere and spend who knows how much on
Yeah.
probably some low quality food. So
Changed Chris's life.
yeah.
Got him saving money. Got him hitting personal best hang cleans.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
He thought his life was over. That was
thought
never
the
going to get
decline-
stronger. He thought he was on the decline. What was that, 6 months ago you told me that?
probably, at least
Yeah.
6 to 8.
Changed
I didn't
his
know if I
mind.
had it in me.
Just had a personal best this week. I'm just saying. He's a young man.
The ripe old, yeah. Anyway, the ripe old age of 33. I thought I was done.
over.
I thought I was done for. But Frank pulled me out of it. I set a monster record, and there's still more. There's some room.
There's
for
more in the
growth.
tank for sure. I saw
Yeah.
it.
So anyway, I mean, that was going on. We talked about your training.
So that was a 2 days.
I think I got a totally different approach too than. And the whole thing too is like.
You sneak in work.
I do, yeah. Just sneak in workouts like 30 to 50 minutes, maybe 60 minutes, maybe 20. Just depends. I try to check the boxes throughout the week. Like what we were talking about with the record, I hit a record in this, in a hand clean, say. So I'm going to try to do like one really good hand clean session a week, one really good front squat session a week. I'm trying to do pull-ups, chin-ups, one day maybe with weight, another day, moderate amount of reps. Like yesterday I ran these hills out in front. I'm thinking hills or sled work.
If I heard.
Those are probably going to get mixed in. And then one day I try to press weight overhead, and I use this physio ball and do push-ups that way.
So let's get into
And
that.
then rows too. What's up?
What we were talking about of like doing what you want versus what you need or what.
Yeah.
I basically asked Chris, I was like, yo, I love deadlifting, so I deadlift more. whereas he loves front squatting and hang cleaning, so he front
But
squats
we
and hang
love it.
cleans more. So, like, would it benefit me more to chill out on deadlifting for a few months, focus on hang cleans or some kind of other power movement, not associated with a dynamic day on a deadlift, but a completely different, like, motion, possibly like Olympic lifting, and spend some time developing that? Would that be more beneficial, or just because I love deadlifting, so I just keep deadlifting?
Well, you put in a lot. You put in some longer sessions, I think, right? And I mean, my reason
Probably
for
like an
not
hour
deadlifting,
and a half, like 3 days a week.
So my reason for not deadlifting that day, when I told you, it was kind of half a joke, half serious, was like, it's just too much of a grind, man.
Yeah.
It's so freaking hard to deadlift heavy all the time that, like, psychologically, I have a hard time getting myself there.
It just feels so good in your hands,
And then there's
like the weight in your hands.
Like, and then also too with my workouts, I have a hard time staying to a schedule in the sense that, like, I have a break at 7:30 to 9. If I'm not feeling it at that moment, then I might do something. But if I have to do a heavy deadlift session at that moment, I'm like,
I'm more
I don't want to
regimented for
do
sure.
it. So I'll wait till the afternoon when I don't know. I try to get.
I don't want to miss out on it.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll
if
do
I have
my
it scheduled,
cleans.
if I'm like, yo, it's Monday, I've done working at 1:30 and I have an hour and a half break, like, I'm going to do it. Like, even if it's not a good session, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, which is good. It's a good thing to do. Like, what I do is not right, but
Not necessarily.
it's not wrong either. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, say this is the day that I'm going to do that, because if up 4 times, that night before, I don't sleep well, or something bad happens.
But neither of us are. We're
whatever.
both kind of into auto regulation too. Like, we're not on, like, percentage sheets where we have to hit certain numbers certain days.
No, that's
so, like, if
another
I feel
thing,
like
too.
trash, I'm gonna get that work, like, as much work as I can. But it might not be the best day I've ever had.
And it was
But I
just
think
like-
that all that little work adds up too.
And it's
like,
looking
all
at the
accumulates
big-
over a long period of time.
Same with eating, like that you were saying, like, look at the big picture. It's not about, like, that individual day, but over the course of the week, if you get all of the stuff in that you want to get in, it doesn't really matter when you get it in. Some days, I don't know, you might sneak in some stretching and pull-ups in the afternoon after you worked out hard in the morning. So it's like, you could check those boxes off, but, you technically, I guess, did a 2-a-day that day, but it's really just finding some time to move around and kind of feel good. Like, there's days you probably feel like crap and you're probably going to get around on the ground and move around a little bit. And I mean, I do that too. Like, today, that might be a day, or in an hour when we're done with this thing, I might decide I'm feeling pretty good, not going to head home before my sessions and hit some
crush something.
cleans. Like, I just kind of leave it open like that. But going back to, like, what should you do with the weakness part of it? Probably should work on weaknesses, I would say.
Yeah.
You might get more bigger bang for your buck instead of getting a 5-pound jump in your deadlift over 3 months. If you start incorporating some other stuff, like, you might. That stuff could carry over to you might even get that 5-pound jump in a deadlift by only doing it, like, once a week. Are you doing it twice a week now?
I'm deadlifting once heavier and once lighter, like once more for just getting sneaking volume.
Well, even those.
But
volume
sometimes I
days,
do take deadlifting away, and I do get stronger in the deadlift because
Yeah.
it's just a central nervous stimulation thing. I think deadlift, clean too though. Hang cleaning is huge, like, has a huge cost on your central nervous system.
Yeah, I agree. And
There were some things that you can seem to do more. Like, I could bench press twice a week or
And I'm
squat
trying to-
twice a week, and I would be fine.
If it was a clean twice a week, the second clean day, I just try to do something that might help my clean. Like, I'll do some front
Like
squats
an
and then
accessory
some
thing
a
that would be
plyometric jump.
Yeah.
I just started doing that, so I don't really know how. Well,
It's gonna
obviously
work well.
I did
That's
pretty
what's gonna
well.
happen. That's gonna happen, bro.
The clean went well last week, but I was feeling good. But that was just short term, and I don't know. But
that's kind of why, like, I think you should work on your weaknesses too, because that's why coaching people, I feel like sometimes we make them do stuff that they might not necessarily want to do, but it's going to benefit them the most. So sometimes you got to, not do what you want to do and do what you have to do.
probably more often than not, you should do that, I would say.
Yeah.
But
back to these questions quick.
yeah, what do you got, bro?
Your boy was talking about doing 2-a-days?
Oh, yeah.
That? So with 2-a-days, I was thinking about this earlier today. 2-a-days, I think it's a lot has to do with, like, an individual. So, like, your age, like, accumulating stress. Like, a kid that has very limited stress might be able to work out 2 days and, like, recovery. And there's also, like, what you're actually doing for that 2 a day. So if you want, I probably want to do like a heavy strength training session and a heavy like cardiovascular session in the same day. Whereas, if you're one thing might be walking or whatever, or an EMON, like you're hitting 10 reps in a day in a 10-minute period, and then later you do like a conditioning session. It's not necessarily a big of a thing, but someone like you, like grinding, working 80 hours a week, like you probably are not going to hit 2 days, not just that it's going to be harder for you to recover, or like having a baby, or like the accumulating stress of life. So it depends on like life situations, I would recommend for most people probably not to go that route unless they're very good at
doing a nighttime walk. I think like that'd be cool.
I think you should walk every day.
Yeah, but that's easy. That's like easier said than done. Like I don't.
So it depends what you're considering a workout too, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
like a nighttime walk would be huge.
I think so, right?
Yeah, for most people, especially
lift some
people we
weights,
deal
and
with.
then, and then especially because you go out there with people and like
Just
it could be a social
we
event.
We work with our like fat loss people. I would say walking is the best thing they could do.
Yeah. Remember that the power lifter, Matt Wenning?
Yeah.
He had, when he was working with that it's Firehouse, right? He works for the Firehouse in whatever state he's from. But it was almost like mandatory 2-a-days for those guys. They would walk every night, and then some of those mornings are.
He was big into rucking too, right? Oh no, that was Jim Windler. Is that the only condition you need to be able to ruck like 2 days a week?
But I think
like
Windler
long distance rucking,
they would
load
power
carry.
lift in the morning, right, and then maybe ruck at night.
Windler was he was the 531 dude, so he did 3 days a week.
But man, Matt was freaking rucking all over town. Wasn't he following Wenning? I don't know, man. Anyway,
our friend Matt loves work.
So, lift in the morning. Maybe not do a hard grinding session in the afternoon. Go enjoy when this weather breaks and you can get outside, go for a walk. I'd recommend that for sure.
And seasonal too. Like,
feels
so if
good.
you think about doing 2 days, maybe like during or whatever, not necessarily even 2 days. Maybe put more gym time in during these seasons when you eat more food, wear sweatshirts more, don't get outside as much. Whereas when it gets nice out, like I want to get outside as much as possible. So I might stay out of the gym a little bit more during those periods.
Yeah.
So it kind of seasonally because we don't have. In season, off season, we don't have. It's not like we're athletes. We're just
always on,
living that dream.
Always
living that dream.
Always in season.
What else are people talking about?
Booze. The booze train.
So I was crushing souls and spirits. I think all week I was sending around this YouTube video about booze. Well, it wasn't necessarily booze, but everybody's like, I am too. I love beer. I love IPAs. But the big thing with I guess hops is that it's messing with males' hormone profile. I guess is what we could do it. So it's like. Possibly creating, it's the same concept as like people said for like a long time with like soy or like BPAs. It's like increasing estrogen levels in males, which is what going to lead to less muscle mass, more body fat, low libido, crazy stuff like that. It also affects women, but the concept being there's something called I think it's phytoestrogens, which is basically like a plant-based. It can do two things. So it can either mimic estrogen or it can be like an antagonist to estrogen. But the ones located in those three things, I think, are more based on you're going to have higher estrogen levels in males.
If you're drinking.
If you're drinking IPAs, because those
hops.
things can stay in your with hops specifically. Because you could have like a double bock, but who drinks that?
Does it have to
It's
be
gross.
an IPA to have hops?
No, most beers have hops.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Unless
and it can stay in your system for several days, which is the other thing. So even like drinking a couple days a week could have an effect. I've been off of booze pretty much, except in Mexico. I went heavy, but
now you were sending that out to some people, right? Didn't you?
Yeah, just because I know some people love beer.
Didn't you influence somebody?
Pop Sizzle?
Yeah.
You got a dude to start drinking vodka on the weekends. No, but he's trying to limit alcohol in general. But it's just like it's trash calories. I mean, besides just like ruining your liver, it does a lot of other stuff. Like you think you sleep because you used to passed out. Wake up in 8 hours, but you're not getting your correct REM cycle, like past your REM cycles into this deep sleep. Like you wake up still trash, like cognitive function's trash, physical stuff's trash. Like it's rough on the body. But people love beer and booze. People love wine.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just something people love.
Yeah, no.
But I had a lot of people that were super depressed.
Yeah, it was a sad
with learning because it was like a percentage thing. It was like I think it was like 50 times greater than the greatest phytoestrogen that was related in soy. So it was like a big jump, Like it seemed like it could negatively affect you a lot.
It sounds like
all in moderation,
What the heck was that? Oh,
carnivorous vegetables though too. If you smash will lower estrogen levels.
Yeah.
Like smash broccoli, kale, cauliflower. Try to fight that good fight.
Yeah, for sure.
They got the antioxidant stuff too. You should be smashing that stuff anyway.
So booze train, we got to get off.
Booze train's rough.
And there's that.
Fun.
I saw a video a couple years ago. I don't know when it was, but what when the body processes alcohol when you drink it, it's like show the internal workings of processing alcohol, and it was like
it has to process
scary
that first.
And gross.
Oh, gross!
To see this stuff, and I was like, yeah.
That's what they say too, though. A lot of people
that stuff, man.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's treated as a poison, I think. So it has to be metabolized first, no matter what alcohol it is.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get in trouble because they're not say you eat before you go drinking or whatever. You probably should, so you don't pass out hammered drunk, but you wouldn't process that food. Your body would go straight towards alcohol to process. So your body's just gonna sit on that longer. And usually people just make bad decisions when they do drink. So you'd be shoving cheese fries and stuff, while you're doing it too, and your body's still trying to metabolize alcohol instead of metabolizing the food. Whereas if me and you just smash cheese fries right now, we would metabolize that first.
What happens to that? What happens to that food?
It just gets prolonged, I think.
After the alcohol is taken care of. But couldn't that process take more than a day?
Probably.
More than 2 days even or something?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
I mean, some people drink heavy or hammered the next morning. Shouldn't be driving around for sure. Your blood alcohol is probably still super elevated.
Sky high.
So I'm assuming you're still metabolizing that.
I went to Syracuse like
1 drink per hour, they say with people, you know, do
4
dump
years
trucks,
ago.
balling 2 beers in a shot. You know, stuff like that. I'm just saying people do it, you know?
Yeah, I hear too many. I think even into 30s, 40s, 50s, the boozing doesn't seem to slow down at all for some. So
It's like an escape. It's kind of like how we treat working out, though, I think, too. It's like you can get all the bad, I don't know, people just go get the bad out.
get lost for the weekend.
Yeah, you know?
Then get back after on Monday, I guess.
Or just keep rolling.
True.
Some people are bad news.
Keep it going throughout the week too. That's always an option. That is an option, I guess.
Hair off the dog and bitch you, bro.
Yeah. So with the alcohol stuff too, man. Frank sent a picture the other day. He was excited about this chocolate bar he picked up, and when I saw it, I was like, soy in that, because I knew there was. I saw it at the
88%,
time.
man.
88% dark
though.
chocolate. Flipped it over soy in there. So I don't want to say the same effect. The estrogen effect, soy and alcohol, probably a little bit different, but it's in like that same family where it's going to kind of boost.
Could disrupt your
Yeah.
hormone profile.
Right.
Could.
And when you start looking at stuff too.
And I've been avoiding soy for like
Soy's
a
in
long
everything.
time, you know, so it's funny that I was drinking for
Yeah,
longer, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense too. It doesn't make
What,
sense that
for
you were
like
doing
10
it,
years
but
I've been like trying not to eat soy.
But just to, I don't know. You don't know all this
Yeah,
stuff, you know? It's
that's
like
true, too.
impossible.
Constantly
I never
learning.
even heard of that until you brought it up with that video. But, yeah, soy is pretty much in everything. So we started kind of cutting that out a couple years ago, and, like, it's literally in everything.
Yeah.
If there's a chocolate chip in something, like 9 out of 10
The only soy,
9 out of 10 things have
Yeah.
soy in it, which
that's
sucks.
why you got to look at the ingredients label.
Yeah.
I guess the only one, I say it wrong, but soy lecithin is the only one that
thought it was
doesn't
lecithin.
That is.
Boom.
It doesn't affect your hormone levels for some reason, but it's like an
Oh.
anti-caking agent.
That's
and
probably what
supplements
was in
and all
that.
kinds of
That's
stuff.
probably what was in that bar then.
I don't think that one actually has a negative impact.
That's probably what's in the chocolate bar.
That's awesome. Then I'm smashing that chocolate.
All right. Well, there you
Dark
have it.
chocolate's good.
I'm still avoiding it. But
See what happens in 50 years. Tune back in.
yeah, I don't even want to say that, man. There's that dude, the Canadian strength coach, Charles Poliquin, had all these principles.
Dead. R.I.P.
I know, and he was like 58, 59.
Yeah.
So, he was eating meat in the morning and all this other stuff. And I think a lot of people that were like,
He's eating pounds of meat. Red meat.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I even think he was messing with some like, he might have been eating like clams and oysters. And like, he had an interesting first meal.
Yeah.
I think there was meat and like some sort of shellfish potentially in there. But anyway, something happens to him. I don't know what the cause or surrounding, whatever caused his death, but it almost kind of immediately makes you rethink like, is this just some rare, it's like a 50-50 flip of the coin, whether what you do every day, it's like a genetic
too,
thing
yeah.
or how you live your life. So you never know. So it's always hard to, I don't know, it's always hard to
Because
figure
people
out what to
probably
believe.
jump on that and be like, "Oh, he eats red meat all the time." It's probably the
That's probably
saturated
why he
fat in
died
the meat.
and
Like, that's why he died.
So some people use
but he
that
could
as
just
proof.
have genetics. You
I
know,
know,
like
yeah.
he could eat all the saturated fat he wants, and it might not impact the saturated fat in his body, and he still dies.
I know.
You know, it's hard.
Yeah, and it's tough.
Genetic predisposition, like there's all. I mean,
Makes you think sometimes whenever stuff like that goes down. But we're on the soy kick. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what else you been munching? You cooking anything else up good?
smashing eggs.
Yeah, how much?
When I eat them, probably like 46. Pretty
Then you're
good,
getting
delicious.
you're getting one meal in, eggs, and then how many more after that? With the
One.
fasting. With the
On
window.
fasting days, so on Monday and Wednesday, I would like legit, it just turns into one big meal.
One big meal.
So I would smash like eggs and then whatever my wife cooked, and then like 3 more servings of whatever my wife cooked, and then probably eat some chocolate or drink some kombucha and go to bed.
What about the kombucha?
I'm trying to
We gotta
limit
give
it.
our
It's so
boy-
expensive and the sugar. I mean,
gotta
there's
get
another way
up-
to get probiotics that don't have 12 grams of sugar per thing, but it's just so good.
We got to get our
And
boy
it's got alcohol in it, actually.
Kombucha Don.
Yeah, we
Gotta
got to
get him on the podcast. We're gonna head up.
What's
to
his company? Give him a shout out.
Porch Tea, man.
Porch Tea.
Yeah, we're coming to his farm. He doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, he doesn't
But
know.
We're gonna run a podcast at his place.
He's got a truck
one
he
of these
drives
days.
around with like 6 taps.
Yeah, he's got a great thing
Good
going
stuff.
on in
Tulsi.
the Lehigh Valley.
Tulsi, that was the best one.
Boom, this is where I was going. Soy. Forgot about this. Talked to somebody yesterday. Autoimmune stuff and different other health conditions. I think everybody kind of knows somebody that has something going on. So it's always tough to navigate. You got like a medical approach, and then you got like kind of taking things in your own hands and trying to fix some symptoms that you might have. Or you just kind of could go get some, a prescription for something. Maybe
Yeah.
at certain points in time, you do need that prescription. But, with I think just kind of like everything too we're talking about, if you have something going on, some sort of condition, I think some sort of elimination structure where you kind of eliminate a bunch of things for a while, maybe reintroduce to see if like that causes a flare, might be your best approach for something like that. But
I think some people need to do nutritional and lifestyle evaluation before necessarily going the medical route too. Like even past autoimmune, like people just get like diabetes type 2 and they're like, yo, let me pop these pills or like get on this insulin pump. Like
literally like
I think they could like do at least like
you could lose like 5 or 10% of your body weight, which you could like whatever, you weigh 300 pounds. If you drop 30 pounds, you know, that's 10%. But like
your math is on fleek,
you're still probably overweight, but like you're gonna have such huge positive just from dropping something like that. But instead it's kind of an afterthought. So
but I don't know that much about autoimmune diseases, but I would assume that changing to your lifestyle to certain diets would, like elimination diet and seeing what causes negative effects would be super important.
Yeah, I think
that's part of the reason you changed how you're eating, right?
Yeah, man, I should probably talk about this book at some point, but it was just this Grain Brain book kind of scared the crap out of me when it was saying the same foods that are causing Alzheimer's and dementia, they're basically calling it brain diabetes, like because the same foods that cause diabetes is also kind of starting to get linked to like brain deterioration.
I was watching something about the other day. They're calling it diabetes type 3 in like third world countries.
I thought you were going to say diabetes.
Diabetes. You got the diabetes. The diabetes.
Yeah, so you saw something about that too?
Yeah, I did.
This thing's scary. I mean, this was a couple years ago, and it was kind of scary to think about that, and then all the other stuff that. I mean, I have to look at the book again to even go into it too much, but just the way the body was processing gluten and all this other stuff, I just kind of thought maybe it might not affect me in a certain way, but I just wanted to kind of err on the side of caution. And same with dairy stuff too. I mean, I don't know, you've eaten cheese or drink a bunch of milk and you get bloated. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good feeling or a good.
I love dairy too. I'm kind of missing milk.
I eat some cheese.
But I mean, think about like.
But then there's corn too.
Like, how many other species drink another mammal's milk?
Don't know. Probably none.
Probably zero.
Yeah.
And how many of those mammals have milk past infancy and stuff, like past that growing
thing? I would
or not
definitely
infancy. I'm awful with that kind of stuff, but past early developmental, stages.
So,
do any?
I don't know. Probably not.
Probably not, right?
That I know of. I like that argument better than like the drinking other people's milk thing.
Yeah.
How long have people been drinking milk anyway? Do you know? Like from dairy?
Like, do we even know that? I have no clue. Yeah, for sure. It was like a European thing, right?
Like when things got, industrial revolution type thing, or like
more agricultural revolution created that, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Corn, soy, gluten, dairy. I don't know. Just try to err on the side.
And
of
I think
caution.
everybody's different too. Is the thing, like someone might have more of an intolerance in one thing, whereas someone else has.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not going to create a problem.
I think corn for my girlfriend would like at times in the past would like put her sick and shivering on the floor, like
So she was highly intolerant to corn. Yeah.
Which is where the elimination
So does she
thing
eat
came
meats
in.
that are not fed corn product?
If we're buying it, that's what we go for.
So much more.
But
expensive.
then, like we said with soy, corn is in everything too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So look at any label, go to any store, even go to a health food store, and 80% of the products probably have something in you want to avoid.
Yeah.
Like you go and you see a big thing of chocolate bars and there's soy in those, or you go to buy flour or some sort of other.
Well, it's still pushed by a lot of the population though.
Like, I'm going to make a pizza.
Our boy Fiegel here, nutrition class, are still teaching like basically what we talked about yesterday. He's still preaching the old school, food pyramid.
Right.
Bottom, filled with grains and corn and all that stuff. Like, so it's relevant,
I don't think those books and stuff. I think it takes time for those things to change too. It's not like
and I just think
we're going to make it.
Certain people don't want it to change too and stuff, So
for sure, there's probably some industry and some money
being tossed around to try to keep that kind of education going.
Yeah.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but
you were talking about
moon landing. That's coming on next podcast.
Flat Earth and moon landing coming at you next.
Just wait. Bringing oatmeal on too.
Yeah, we do have a specialist. You watch an hour of YouTube videos, and now he's an expert. What else we got on here, man? I got a few things
recovery strategies.
Recovery.
Someone was talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I was just going to talk about it a little bit. I was saying,
what do you do?
What'd you say?
Oh, honestly, we kind of hit on a few food.
Yeah,
even going for that nighttime walk.
Yeah, nighttime walk.
Just to get a little.
I was going to go past that, like people like LeBron James spend $1 million a year on like recovery and fitness. Like James Harrison, $400,000 a year, but they're making money on their body. But like they're doing, like acupuncture, deep tissue massage, cupping.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Steph Curry's like sleeping in deprivation tanks. Darren Hilliard was taking naps in hyperbaric chambers. Like So there's always things I think that you can look for to aid recovery too. Ice, contrasting ice and heat baths are huge. People like send them to people on Instagram just to like have them post it. I did cupping. I did deep tissue massage. JK Smooth, Justin something. It doesn't matter. But I basically got a deep tissue massage and cupping done. I've elevator scapula, sharpshooting pains in my trap like for the last 10 years. Not all the time, but it would get aggravated, especially rocking, walking, specifically stuff like that. But I got a deep tissue massage. I've had deep tissue massage before, and I think like I don't know if he's better or he's just stronger and can actually apply deep tissue massage because I've had him before and it was like people can't really dig in, and I think I'm just a dense dude.
Too dense.
So it helped me a lot. And cupping, I got it done. It was more of an approach like over my whole back, and talking to my chiropractor. He thinks it should be more localized to like a specific thing. So like if he focused on my a certain muscle or a certain problem area, it should cup that area because it's going to stimulate more blood flow. More blood flow is going to lead to more healing. So it should be more specialized. I don't 100% know. I'm not, a physical therapist. I know I felt great afterwards. I still feel great.
Yeah.
I feel like my body's more in a straight line. I'm having no pain in that.
Really?
Like I feel a lot. I feel really good.
I'm going to have to go down to JK.
You should check him out, man. Check him out.
I think I got the same thing.
We'll throw his
right shoulder?
right shoulder, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's what's going on too.
The stabbers are miserable too. I had to like put my arm back. So I'd be like randomly like at a grocery store, like in here, I'd be like, like, and it made it go away. But it's nice not to have it for sure.
What they do with the front side? Anything like in here?
No, he said next session.
Oh, he's gonna tear that.
I mean, I have some thoracic flexion going. I lifted around for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
National chest Monday, every day, and not ever pulling. Now I row
Every
2 to
Monday,
3 times.
Thursday?
Yeah, bro. So I think that part of that's thoracic flexion, part of it's lifestyle, sitting, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you can look into other things. Cryotherapy is another huge one in this area.
Yeah.
They do IV treatments, but it's ridiculous. It's like $150, and you're supposed to do it like once every 2 weeks.
What do you mean?
Or IV treatments?
For what?
Anything.
What are they pumping in?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have different cocktails. I know that. Like, so there's actually in Vegas they have people running around giving like hungover people those in like vans.
Yeah, that's.
But what I guess it'd be saline solution, different vitamins and stuff. I mean, I read a study in college that said amino acids are only effective if they're like infused into your body, yeah, and in large doses. So maybe stuff like that. I would have to do more research on that too, but I know that you can do that in Allentown. People that are sick will go get it done.
Cool. All right, man. So, thumbs up on cupping. You'd recommend it?
I would recommend deep tissue massage. I would recommend cupping too, just because it worked. It might be something that has to concurrently be done together.
Yeah. And
I only know from one experience, so
How long was the massage?
I think it was probably around 70 minutes, 60 to 70.
But he was working primarily on that area or the whole body?
Primarily the upper back and lower back.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, if you go and get a massage, like I went in and got one, it was 90 minutes, and the guy was just like, different. I don't know what he got, but it was pretty much what I was getting was like, he was jamming his palm into certain areas, and he was basically pinning the muscle where he was, and then he would move my arm through these different things. He did the same thing with the hips and all this back stuff, but he was like, you probably need at least like 2 hours to really do everything. So like this guy had 70 minutes with you, and he worked on
specifically area,
maybe not even a half. It was only a quarter because it's your upper back, and he didn't even hit the front side. Didn't really work too much the lower body. So anyway, if you do stuff like that, you might want to invest the time instead of going, like once every month or whatever you want to do. Like maybe every 3 months, you just go and get checked out for like 2 hours. Like whatever it is, just if you're really hurting and you have
the problem with that is like if you, I mean there is. I mean, I was gassed at, like, I went to sleep at like 8 o'clock that night. Like, I was physically fatigued, tired. So, like, there is some stress on your body accumulated with it. So split it up, like, say every 3 weeks if
3
it's
months,
working
I meant to say.
Okay. I was going to say every 3 weeks if you work on different spots, though, for 60 minutes. Might not be a bad idea either than getting your, the hammer dropped on you for like 2 hours for one day and your whole body's just like,
But what if you don't get enough
toxins out,
enough time
chugging
to elicit
water.
that response in 60 minutes, like.
I don't know enough about massage therapy.
Bear, man. Remember we talked
Bear's dense.
He's dense and
he
needs some time, man.
Yeah.
Big, thick muscles.
His chiropractor, the guy told him.
I mean,
our friend went to get a massage.
It's like a 60 minutes. He's like twice as dense as I am. And somebody told me I needed 2 hours.
He's just a big, strong dude, though.
Strong man. But I don't know if, he might need more than 30 minute. Anyway, I just think if you're going to do something like that, obviously, I would probably want to do more.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a stretch, if you hold a stretch for 30 seconds, you might not get the same response if you held it for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So I think maybe the same way with some of the other stuff. Give it an opportunity to actually get the best response possible without really tearing you up too bad, hurting you.
I like what you're talking about right now. Love everything you just said.
Transition
to me, bro.
that. Let's get into the foam roll debate quick while we're talking about recovery.
All right, so I don't let me clarify this. Throw a disclaimer. So I don't as much have a problem with foam rolling per se. I just think there's a lot of foam roll misuse. So I think like people with IT band issues rolling their IT bands might actually aggravate them more. People rolling their lumbar spine or lower back might put themselves into like this hyperextension state. You know, like someone rolling their upper back and like having their arms out so the scapula's moved so they can dig into some of those muscles might be a better thing. But I think people are doing things that aren't necessarily going to help them. But I get the concept of myofascial release because as we get older, we get like turned into beef jerky. I think Mike Boyle says that. He calls it beef jerky, but your muscles just get tight. Like everything gets dense. Like we were just talking about bear, like super dense. So I get the idea of like myofascial release, but I think it's possibly the misuse, spending too much time. So if you come in to work out for an hour and you spend 20 to 30 minutes on a foam roller, like maybe, you know, you should spend 5 on there, just hit that trouble spot and got into your dynamic warm, but then start working out and get some work in. Well, so I don't necessarily demonize the foam roller. I haven't used one in a year, but I don't want to completely demonize it because I think some people will benefit from it.
Unless you're talking to Corey, the intern.
Corey the intern, yeah.
He's on that thing
25, 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, Mike Boyle, though, he's like, I don't think his stuff changed. Maybe it did. I didn't pay attention to his last like program he had at, but warm up the muscle tissue is how I think he worded it.
But he's foam rolling his whole body.
Yeah, but I don't think it's very long. I think it's warming up the tissue, and then he stretches the tissue with static stretching, and then he goes into dynamic warm-up.
Okay.
In an ideal session. That's like 60
I guess
to 75
it's different from a
session.
physical therapy standpoint and a Boyle standpoint, too, because if he's using it
like 5 to 8
primarily
minutes.
to prime your body. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 5 to 8 minutes just to warm the tissue
Because
up.
I think from a physical therapy standpoint, if you have, like, trouble areas, you might have adhesions. Like, they're talking about slow rolling, like, pausing on that adhesion, trying to break that puppy up and stuff like that, so...
But I kind of do that with a lacrosse ball. So
yeah, I think the lacrosse ball better.
Concept, yeah,
I use it on my scapula and stuff.
Trigger
point, more like trigger point, like localized things.
I mean, there's people that I've read that are the IT band's not even a muscle, so
yeah,
you're not really going to be able to
connect tissue.
Yeah, so is foam rolling that area really would not make it beef jerky? You know, like it's kind of a weird thing too, where people are.
Yeah, but
I
think myofascial release because like even muscle, like some of the benefit is the like fascia surrounding the muscle is like the release, you know. So, like...
You think you get that same effect with the IT?
I don't know.
Either, yeah, but what the hell do we know, you know?
Yeah.
But I only know...
That's true.
I only know so much. It just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense in my mind.
Don't get super mad at us. Go do some more research.
But if it is a placebo situation, it makes you feel better. Do it up.
Yeah, that's true, too.
I feel like that's always a positive thing.
100%.
I got one thing on my list, and I know you got some on yours, man.
I just had questions from those kids.
Oh, yeah, let's get the high school kid questions. Guys, this is going to be awesome.
All right, so it's funny because our training approaches basically limit sports-specific training, especially with younger athletes and stuff like that, because we have a fundamental approach to developing relative strength into absolute strength into power, similar philosophies. So they want to know why the benefits of sports-specific training.
Wait. As opposed to what?
I don't know. Sife Dog just wants to talk about sports-specific training. I was just going to say, like...
We have different approaches, I think.
Yeah.
Same like... I don't know. I think we're in the same house, but we just have... Maybe we're in different rooms, if that even makes sense. But...
I think it depends what you define sports-specific training to.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a boxer throwing weighted punches, I think it's going to slow you down, which is stupid,
stuff.
you know?
No, definitely not doing that, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just bad practice. It's going to make you worse. But like a medicine ball, you know, like a vertical or like a guy that gets a guy to jump, like chucking a medicine ball over his head. Like, it's mimicking jumping motion or like a rotational motion for a baseball or softball kid. Like, after a fundamental level, I think stuff like that can be implemented, and it's super effective for developing power and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen some of the medicine ball?
But they can definitely do some things that look sport-specific that are detrimental to your performance.
It's like a medicine ball, like weight guidelines for, I think it might have been like Eric Cressy's business. Light. Yeah, so they're using like 2 to 6 pound medicine balls.
Themselves.
And it's all about velocity with the stuff. So it's not about, so like with the sport-specific stuff, it's not about if you are going to throw a punch, say, just because boxing seems to be the easiest way to talk about it. you wouldn't have 65 pounds and like, because you're moving it in a slow manner that like it's going to slow everything down. So with
Train slow, be slow.
If you had like I remember reading about
Rocky
a roll,
video, man.
like a roll of quarters. If you just hold a roll of quarters, that's adding a little bit of resistance, but you're still able to work your hands and move them as fast as you can. The same with slowing yourself down with medicine balls. If you're doing rotational throws with a 20-pounder, physically you could do it. Physically, the 6-pounder feels like nothing, but the goal is going to be to whip it as fast as you can. So you're getting your velocity up, and like so you're training for power and velocity and all that stuff with a light implement. Like some of the
part
research,
of its application too. Like you have to apply these techniques correctly to make them beneficial.
And the sport-specific stuff. There's some studies too that talk about doing the Olympic lifts, the cleans, like at 35% of your max, just because of the power situation where you got, the acceleration of the bar. You can move the bar faster there and elicit a bit greater.
There's just so much gray area too, because like you doing the cleans at different percentages is fine because your clean is totally cool and you've done it for so long. Whereas if you have if you have a strong group of athletes that haven't been exposed to that, you might be better off with a medicine ball throw or something to work in that range, and elicit a similar effect that isn't so technically based or dangerous, So there's just so much. So what are the benefits of it?
I had a baseball coach a couple years ago working with youth kids, and he wanted them to, like, without a ball, they're doing these single leg, basically to mimic their pitching. They're on one leg and like simulating their throwing, and like that's what they were going to spend time doing. For their, they had 30 minutes of like general fitness stuff to do. They were going to do stuff like specific to their sport when they probably would have got a better response from like sprinting, push-ups, or bear crawls and like jumping.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like with the age group, we had that question yesterday. She does say she listens, so hopefully Eddie's listening. Anyway, we were talking about it. So, kids get into a certain age group, age 7 to 11 range. Say Corey was talking about it too, what he learned in one of his classes. It was like there's a certain stage there where you want to kind of throw a bunch of skills at them, keep it laid back, keep it fun, have them learn, have them kind of explore things on their own, get a feel for things. And I think you want to kind of focus on other things, general fitness stuff, obviously jumping, running, sprinting, but then also like the mindset stuff, like give some effort, have some energy. Don't screw around so much and show us that you care a little bit. I think maybe the emphasis should be on that. As you get a little bit older, the sport-specific route, you probably want to get your strength levels up to a certain
100%.
point. So when you're like 12-ish to 15 range or older, because some kids could be 17. We talked about it in the other podcast, never worked out, just getting started. So you got to lump them in with the inexperienced kids. But like there's always outliers. But, you could train certain aspects of your sport in the gym, like I feel like the cleans or something, or the medicine ball throws, that stuff will show up. Jumping should show up. Doing some stuff with different tempos, I think, shows up and helps, like being able to absorb a force and then like applying the force in the opposite direction. We talked about that too. Like that type of sport-specific training, fine with it. Swinging a 30-pound bat, all it's going to do is just slow up your swing. It's going to get you out of your natural groove.
Yes, Seifert.
And probably not benefit you at all.
No, I think it's pretty solid.
What about
Seifert was the one who talked about the NFL
I want to talk
combine,
about
bro.
too, how we're different in a certain component too, with how strong. Like, I'm kind of thinking. My whole thinking is like, let's get everybody to be strong enough, and then you just want to push. You want to push strength.
Yeah, I just think strength training, like,
to strength and weaknesses.
So even like so this is my philosophy. Like even like so I want to hit certain levels of strength, and I think they're probably higher than where you think they are. But like even like so from a power, we were talking about medicine ball stuff and like a power development standpoint. So like what strength is basically you overcoming whatever force, right? So what's power? Power is like that strength over time, right? So you're trying to apply that force at the fastest rate possible. So I think driving up, I think strength is part of power. So you need to drive up strength is going to make you more powerful too. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. So you got all right. No, it does. But the strength, like what we were talking about, the deadlift and the cleans.
So a deadlift, I think if you're deadlifting 2 to 3 times your body weight, you're probably more likely to sprint faster. Because you're hip dominant, you're building up your posterior chain and things like that. You might not be able to. You might just not genetically be able to be able to fire. And like some people just aren't ever going to be fast,
right,
no matter how strong they get. But I think increasing your relative strength, so a kid's strength compared to their body weight, gives them the best opportunity to be successful from a sports performance standpoint.
But I want to go then to the strength and weaknesses part of it. So let's say a kid does have double body weight on a deadlift. Are you still going to keep, banging twice a week deadlifts, once a week deadlifts? Or you're going to substitute in another primary lift that is weaker,
more work.
And then maybe, you bump that deadlift in a little bit after that, say. Where you got your bench.
Or sneak in volume.
I don't want to say, it's hard. Yeah, use the deadlift for volume. Say, like I did that when I was working with the high school. I would actually throw the deadlift in at the end of the upper body session for periods of time. So they'd hit the squat on Monday, say Tuesday was bench, full upper body thing, and then at the end we were hitting like volume deadlifts just to kind of put a little mass on. Because just at that period of time, we were trying to put a little bit of size on, and it was hard to find a spot for the deadlift. But I think it's a strength and weaknesses thing too, where in the sense that like there's two-legged bilateral strength, then there's unilateral strength. So it's like if you could get the strength to a certain point, do you want to maybe start focusing on other aspects too? And with the whole force,
I agree with that.
It's mass and it's acceleration.
Well, I asked you this question the other day. If I would stop bilateral, like doing the back squat for 4 months and focus on a unilateral exercise. So if I would switch that to, a split squat for 4 months, what would happen to my bilateral strength?
Don't know. But it's interesting too that you crush me in bilateral, but we're probably somewhat comparable in the unilateral.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that would apply to your like I don't know if me being strong in a unilateral doesn't make me necessarily super strong in a bilateral.
Exactly.
It just makes me strong in a unilateral.
Yeah.
So
but I guess that's what you're saying too. You should work, huh?
Like unless you have some sort of serious imbalance that is going to show up, because let's say you're handling bilateral work for like 6 months and like maybe you go to the unilateral split squat even and you're like, crap, my freaking left side's jacked, or You saw it in mine too. Like my right side, it's just not the same as the left side, and I don't know what's going on there. I'm hoping that it doesn't lead to anything.
Yeah.
You made a comment like, oh, that looks different.
Yeah.
I feel it. I mean, I feel it's different, but who knows?
I know everybody's so like. I know we all try to move with grace and like get better at movement and quality of movement, but like, I mean, some things just aren't. Your movement might never be 100% perfect, like just because things that have happened through your life and whatever.
Yeah. But when we're talking about there's a dog out there.
Thought Rich coming in.
So we're talking. I want to get on that though. The strength aspect.
Hit me.
Just because I don't know if we clarified. We both do the same.
Strength.
We have the same concepts when we're working with kids.
I'm a believer in strength.
We want to get them.
I feel like you're a believer in strength.
I am, but then there's the acceleration component to the strength. So like earlier when we were talking about the cleans versus the deadlift. Frank likes the deadlift. I like to do cleans. It's fast. I think it's fun. I enjoy it. The deadlift is more of a grind. It could take 4 to 8 seconds to do it. There's this sprint coach Ryan Flaherty talks about force number. If your hex bar deadlift is, I think it was like 4.2 times your body weight. You're like a 4.40 guy.
Yeah.
All right. Robert Griffin.
I think his thing was like 90% of those people running those times can do 4 times their body weight in a hex bar deadlift.
So in his mind, if you could drive up their hex bar deadlift,
that gives them the best opportunity to be faster.
But on that side of the coin too, it's mass times acceleration is going to give you force. In order to do 4 times body weight, your mass has to stay. You cannot be 300 pounds and do 4 times.
Because I consider you like Wilks and stuff too, but yeah.
That's like
it's got to be relative to your body weight. That's
exactly. You're 168
from a sports performance standpoint,
or whatever. You're a 170 pounder, like that. That is maybe reasonable. That's no, it's 3.2. It's 3.2.
Okay.
It's not 4.2. There's no way. No, it's not. It might be a little bit higher. Anyway, it was something.
I would have to relook at it, but
me too.
It's
but anyway, so that's a strength. That's
it's well over 2 times your body
coach
weight, which we use as like, or I use as like a fundamental thing.
Yeah.
Like you should get to 2 times your body weight.
And that's hard.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely hard. What about girls? Where do you want them? We had that question right before we started.
Girls are
fitness.
Girls are interesting.
What's their number on the deadlift? I was talking to a girl yesterday.
Girls are just
high school girls.
Girls are interesting. I just girls are interesting because I believe it's like so much more lift specific. Like I feel like women and girls can like almost put up like comparable numbers in some of the like lower body lifts, whereas like upper body just never seems to.
Yeah.
Like.
I think that's a fact.
But that's like anatomical differences too, I guess. But like a lot of females do really well with lower body lifts just because they usually tend to have, some of them have like large glutes, large legs, Q angles, and stuff like that.
Better watch what you're saying.
But which part?
Large hips, large glutes. Those
are all the best muscles, though.
You might offend some
women.
women
I might, but But they just have a tendency to be able to lift more.
Triggered.
So you're saying an actual number or relative to their body weight?
Yeah, like let's
Strike
say
numbers.
you want to get a high school boy to double body weight. What about a female? What are you hitting?
I would still try to gear towards the same thing, man.
Really?
Try to, yeah. It's like if you have a 150-pound girl, if you can get them close to the 300-pound hex bar deadlift, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, awesome for sure. I didn't know if
A lot aren't going to get there.
Yeah. I don't
But
know
are you
the
giving
numbers. It's like 85.
but are you giving push-up like relative strength exercise? A lot of people think like push-ups are super easy and like everybody's doing them. So like, how much different would your push-up level be for a boy and a girl, or like a gold standard
I don't
for
know,
a
if a girl
female
could do,
athlete
like-
at 16?
If a girl could do like 10 to 15,
That would be good.
push-ups,
Whereas
good enough, I would say.
But if a boy did 10 to 15, then you would say
Probably needs
what
more.
is that?
I don't know. Honestly, 25 to 35 range, good ones for a high school kid. We're talking.
Did you see that study about push-ups?
No.
So basically, I just read this the other day. There was a study. So anybody doing over 40 push-ups, I believe the number was, has like a 75% less chance of developing cardiovascular disease.
All right.
I don't know if
females?
it's from getting up and down off the ground. It was only males. I know. This is what I come back to too.
But I think the female thing was like I read once. It was like 85. Like
But there are
lower
females
body,
that crush push-ups and stuff
they
and
could do
crush
like
weights.
85 to 90% of what men could do. I feel like for lower body exercises, or it was something like that. And then the
Yeah.
upper body stuff's like 65%, 70%. Where
How much of it is like culturally like and psychologically limitation, and how much of it is
Well,
actually
you look at
anatomically and physically impossible?
yeah,
I follow more freaks on Instagram, and you're just
There's-
like, how
yeah,
are these
yeah.
people doing these things?
there's girls stronger than me for sure.
Me too, 100%.
That weigh like 40 pounds less
Yeah.
than me here. If,
even more.
so you're
Or even
thinking,
le-
so
even-
we're going
there's
back
like
in the
120
day?
pound girls, like
are we
four
going all
times
the way
body weight.
back to like 1800s when men jacking stuff around and females weren't doing it? And it's
Like
just
evolution is as far as Darwinism. That's why
is there an
the difference is
evolutionary
now.
thing here?
Could be.
Could be. That's right. We'll have to dig into that.
I love that we're not giving out concise answers about anything right now.
It's because we don't know shit.
I know.
You know, people think they. We don't have the answers, but we have.
We don't have the
an
answers to
idea.
everything, man.
We
Yeah.
have ideas, I guess.
I
But
feel like you can coax people in the right direction, but some things, it's
well, it's hard. I mean, who's to say
different.
who's to say that's not the thing? I mean,
What, Darwinism?
Like we're females.
Oh,
like I'm reading
females.
this bodybuilding book right now.
Who's saying females
from
in
the 60s
20 or 40 more years
could be just as
could be just
almost
as
equal.
strong as males?
Could be, right? What do we know?
We don't. And females are starting to lift more.
But there's a
Lifting's
hormone
getting cooler,
component too,
Olympic
right?
lifting,
There's a
powerlifting.
testosterone
Like more
component.
females are getting involved. Like part of it is probably through the decades was like less females were involved in vigorous activity, and from labor wise as well as strength training wise.
They're not going to be as strong as men, though, I don't think, hormone wise.
Just because
Isn't
testosterone.
isn't that a factor? It's got to be. It's got to play a role.
But how much of a hormone profile is based on contractility versus lean muscle mass? Like their ability to gain lean muscle might be inhibited, but how much does testosterone affect contractility? A lot.
Don't know. I don't know that answer.
Because a lot of people just like increase lean muscle mass, you're usually stronger, but not necessarily.
Either way, I mean, girls are lifting weights more now than ever, so it's good.
Yeah.
It's a positive thing.
Either, yeah,
And
100%.
it's trickling its way down, too, with the younger generation.
It's going to get better.
I feel like now.
But I think
there's-
I would
I have a lot
have
more
almost
girls.
ventured to guess that females are getting more involved in strength training and males are getting less involved.
Wait a sec. Do you think males are
Like
getting less
inverse.
involved?
I think so.
So that number's going down a little bit, female going up.
Mm-hmm.
So it could equal out, maybe.
We're going to find
sometime.
out. 40 years, tune back in.
We're going to be
Try to
here.
drop this thing up.
Same location.
We'll see. Should
All
we
right,
get into our questions?
Yeah, sure, man.
Speaking of that, want to see where do you see yourself 5-10 years, bro? What are you going to be doing? You going to be here doing the same thing? What's going to change?
I
Anything?
think I'll probably hopefully still be doing strength and conditioning coaching. I think I'd like to, I know I
'Cause you enjoy
talk
it?
about him, but like Mike Boyle, I think is in his 60s and he's still doing stuff and he enjoys it and loves it. So I think I'm going to try to continue to go that route, but just try to do things on my own terms, which, I mean, I spoke on that in podcasts too before, where like just having total control of over pretty much over everything. We live on a farm. Would love to be able to operate out of there. I would love to have a
Home base.
business going. Then I'm hoping to kind of get started a little bit with like speed and agility camps. I like getting out there and doing that stuff because I used to coach sports, and coaching the sports season is long and tough. So that kind of turns you off a little bit. But I do kind of miss working with large groups of kids, like that lacrosse
it is
team
exhilarating.
that comes in. I mean,
The
they've
big
been
group stuff.
coming in for 3 months and they're done on Friday, and that's going to stink a little bit. But because you get to know some kids and
Yeah.
it's fun anyway. But doing
It's
like
just
the
so hard
camps,
to keep kids in season training.
so basically what I want to do in 10 years is just do whatever I want and like not have to worry about bills and just kind of be comfortable enough where you could kind of do things that I want to do. Hopefully still coaching. Hopefully have a sweet setup at our gym, at our farm, or maybe who knows, somewhere else. But
I like it.
still like to be coaching. And who knows? There's probably going to be a transition point. And that, like this thing here, like I mean, this is fun too. And I'm just exploring with the podcast thing and more stuff, more media stuff. Trying to do some writing, some blogs. I mean, I love to read, but I don't think I have the capabilities of writing a book. But who knows? Maybe a little ebook
Keep blogging,
situation.
put them all together. Yeah, it might happen.
Something. Who knows? But it's just things like that where, because I honestly like work.
So you like creating too?
Yeah, but I like to work. I like to. I'm not in a great line of work, I guess, but I like to be by myself and do stuff by myself. So, I get like an hour or two every morning. If I don't come in here early in the morning at like 5:30, I'll stay home and put in some work from 5 to 6, 5 to 7, and it's like it's enough work.
You enjoy it.
It's enough work before work, so that throughout the rest of the day I could just kind of relax. And when I'm on my break, say for 3, 4, 5 hours, I could just kind of help out and do whatever and hang out with the baby if I wanted to, and make some food. And cook some meals and do some good stuff there. What do you got? What's next, bro?
That's a great answer, bro.
What about you?
So I was gonna say,
What are you gonna be? Mexico?
I do love to travel, man. I would love to do more with traveling. I like the hands-on approach to coaching as well, but I want to get more involved in what you're speaking about as well. I need to get more content out. I've been writing like blogs. I want to compile some stuff together. I want to do more YouTube stuff.
The people that are putting the content out, it's like full. They're putting.
It's a full-time job,
5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and
so you can think it's like an easy thing, but like if we're training 30 to 40 hours a week, and then what are you going to do? 35 hours worth of content? Like we're not Gary Vee, man. Like I like traveling, I like painting, I like working out. Like I'm not going to give up that stuff,
right?
And be completely one-dimensional. So
yeah,
similar to what you said, I want to create more and do more things like that, and have a more creative outlook. But hopefully I can do both.
Yeah.
I would just change the capacity. I mean, anti-frail's growing. I would like to do more stuff with that.
Oh,
I can create shirts. I can sell stuff,
I'm going to bring this thing almost full circle that I talked about Charles Poliquin earlier.
Yeah.
He was on with Tim Ferriss, who wrote the 4-hour work week. Poliquin said, I want to get down to the 4-hour work day. So that's kind of my goal with training, I think, is to get down to 4 hours of working with people and hopefully, 4 hours of training, and then that frees up some time to do some other stuff. And maybe I could actually put work in.
You really could do it, too. It's like possible. That's what, with some professions you would never be able to do that. But I feel like
I'll pay
with
people,
what you do, you could.
I'll pay people to take care of the farm, say. But it's like, that's an expense you could eliminate if you could cut your work down to a certain amount. You could do work at home. You could do some other things and might not have to pay for a babysitter. Like you could kind of
depends
offset
how financially
different
stable you want to be too. Because if you're going to pay someone $10 to do the work, and you're making $60+ dollars an hour,
no, no, exactly.
Well, you should just work, pay them.
I agree. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
But,
so
but it's nice to do stuff outside. I enjoy that side of stuff. Being able to have some freedom to do some stuff and
I love being
get
outside
outside
too.
and walking.
And you get that vitamin D. It just makes you feel good, man.
For sure.
And fresh air. That is rich. Let's talk about this real quick. I was gonna say, because we're so different, like personality wise. Like I was gonna ask you, like, why do you think you're so successful now? Like, what qualities in you do you think were the driving force or catalyst behind? Like you do pretty well in your training business.
Decent, so. Maybe.
I think you do well.
Better now than like 5 years ago, but
better than
probably just because I didn't stop. I guess, right? I mean,
I was gonna talk about that too. The inability to quit, like you just can't stop.
Yeah, I talked to a kid. He's not really a kid, but I used to coach him. He's about like 24ish, and I was like, it was just about another business closing down, or potentially, being sold or whatever. And it was like, as long as you could outlast your competition, like you're probably gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So, you might have some tough times, but then somebody goes out of business, you pick up a few new clients, you might lose some on your own and whatever. That's just kind of how life is. But I don't know, just stick around.
So just consistency, stay around.
Yeah, I think we even talked about it.
Showing up
when you're supposed to and stuff like that, and
not being 45 minutes late to a class.
Yeah.
Interns.
Seriously. I think that's probably it, right? I mean, just be consistent. I think one of these guys too, like that as a gym, it's like with interns or with people that you hire, just hire nice people and then train them to do what you want them to do. Yeah. So I think if you just try to, you treat people well.
Develop people and treat them right.
Yeah.
I think you're right with that. I think so many people try to exploit things just to like push up your like profit margins. Whereas in like if you think about that like macro scale over 20, 30 years, and you help people out, but you sustain that longer, it might be better.
What about you? What do you think? Now, are you in a position now better than ever before? Do you think?
100%.
Yeah. Why? Let's hear it, man.
Why did that happen?
Yeah, the same question you asked me. How? Advice? What do you got?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, you're right with the not quitting because I think so many people hit like tough times and stop doing it.
I thought about it too. I remember talking to you back in the day.
In LA Fitness?
Yeah.
Because I had massive debt and I was making $20,000 a year. So I was like, So I looked at like PTA school. I looked at like other options to try to get like. I mean, I love doing this, but like there were definitely times where like, dude, I gotta find a better way. Like, just financially, it's so hard to like try to chip away at debt. And, just making poor decisions, but just staying consistent in the game, like constantly networking, constantly meeting people. I meet people really easily, so like I could walk into a room and I would probably meet like in a room full of 30 people at a party, I would start talking to like 8 to 10 of them just because it's just like kind of like what I do. So I think that's like socially, just my personality in general helps me too because I just meet people and talk to them about anything, which I think is helpful. But I think not quitting is a huge part too because we didn't quit. So that's part of the reason we're here. Like that's the easiest answer. Like we kept doing it over long periods of time.
Yeah. No, I think so.
And you just put it's not easy, Like you just got to keep putting in work. Like, so like part of it is like work ethic too.
Yeah.
Like there's no easy way. Like if there was an easy way to get to the point you want to be at, like everyone would be there. Like.
We talked about the amount of jobs that we had, and at one point I would drive 25 minutes, open up a gym, then drive back in another direction 20. Anyway, from 4:50 in the morning to like 7 at night, there was a period of time that I was working, and then it was during coaching when I was coaching football. So it's like 7 days a week of stuff, and like saying yes to everything is probably not a great idea, but at that moment in time, you kind of had to just to kind of make some money and
make it happen.
So anyway, all that stuff then, like if I didn't do that stuff, I was probably whining about it at the time, but if I didn't do it, I might not be where I am here currently, but things could be a lot better too at the same time.
Well, that's what's funny. Like if you think about over the 8 years, how much better life is. But compared to like the potential, how much better it could be. But part of that's like philosophy too, like getting better every day.
What's a good enough?
Like if you wake up and like try to better yourself every day, I think eventually good things are going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
I talk to other gym owners or whatever, and they're working, 14 or 15 hours.
I just don't want to do that.
No, I'm trying to find a sweet spot and whatever
balance,
it is.
life balance,
Yeah, that's all it is.
But I guess if that's your dream.
True, everybody has different business setups and business plans and future goals and whatever. So. That's definitely a factor too.
Yeah.
You got that. You got another.
Because there's the work like outside of the gym you have to do too. So if you're doing that during your 14 to 16 hours,
that's part of it.
But like think if you're training 4 to 6 hours a day, and then you still have to do an hour to 2 of other stuff that you're not getting paid for,
payroll,
because you're an entrepreneur, business owner. So it's not just what you see on the surface. There's a lot of like the iceberg's deep, man.
Very deep.
Watch out, Titanic. Leonardo DiCaprio is actually a good actor, even though I hated Titanic. Blood Diamonds.
Yeah,
Departed.
Shout out.
Oh, jeez. I just broke a chair, but
shout out to Leo. What else? You had another question on the sheet here, man? No, you got the advice part. No, we got to get that one.
Oh, that's what I was going to say, too. We have an intern.
We have an intern right now.
I was saying, like, what's your best advice to someone starting out in the strength and conditioning industry or just fitness in general, Just like,
for one,
what do you tell them? Because I wanted you to, like, parlay, like,
half serious,
what happened with you.
Half serious, half joking. He needs to get his mind right a little bit, and he's whining about working like 5 hours a day.
But high school and college don't prepare you for the real world.
No, we got him covering a lot.
High school's like a babysitting thing. And
we got this kid
colleges,
covering.
You have so much free time, man.
We got him working a lot.
Yeah, more than he's ever worked.
But he needs to probably do more.
Yeah.
He has no clue, which I didn't either until a couple years ago, about, like, if he wasn't an intern and tried to start his own business, what's he going to do? Is he going to go work for a gym where they kind of feed you people?
You almost have to.
I think you need to.
Yeah.
I think he should do that, and I think, he should also try to explore doing things on his own because he might have an opportunity to have a facility where he can work, like a private type facility, and then also have a commercial gym situation where he might be not guaranteed, but he at least knows he's going to have a set paycheck, a rough estimate of what he's going to make every 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever. So I think that's probably the route to go.
So don't limit yourself would be some of your best advice.
Probably say, I mean, like I just said 5 minutes ago, like
3,000 things at once. don't
Yeah, I just kept
overextend
saying
yourself, but you
yeah.
had to. Yeah.
I just said yeah to everything and cross your fingers and hope everything works out, basically. I still kind of do it now with people. If, they could only train, like, I didn't intend on training people in the mornings. My initial plan was to work for like 4 hours in the afternoon and be done with it. But, then you look at your bank account and you're like, I think I need to work some more because this gym's sitting vacant for 10 hours.
And you're paying rent for it. So
you're paying rent on, so let's just get some stuff going. So I would say yes to just about everything until
you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Until something
and then
breaks.
whittle it down.
Tipping point.
Then whittle it down, and then probably there's going to be another
at some
expansion.
point.
Prioritize and execute. That is
Embrace the darkness.
That's Jocko Willink quote there. But yeah, figure out what you want to do. Make a list and make it happen there. I'd get a job. I mean, what would you do? What would you tell a kid? Say we got an intern. He's trying to get after it.
That's. I would say the same thing. I would say, even if there would be a way to work more than one job, I would just just back to the pipeline and networking. Like, you just got to it might be easy. I'm from a different situation because when I moved up here, I didn't know anybody. Like, you have like a whole Saucon Valley. Like, you're like an idol, man. You're like a legend.
No, I'm not.
But joking aside, like, you just have this huge network. So I think at some point it comes down to that. Like, you just need to know more and more people. Like, you need to work these little referral systems. Like, you need to develop relationships. Referrals are the best way for organic growth. If he's looking to do PT, if someone's looking to do more group stuff, you got it. You might have to pump more money into advertising. You need to get so many people in paying lower amounts. I would rather just specialize, work with fewer people and have a tight knit, little family growth aspect.
But the one thing too that I think it's easier to get people sometimes for the group situation in terms of the price point being cheaper and being new to the game.
But it's quality too. Like, what are you going to get from? You're probably going to get more. Your PT clients get more than your group clients do.
They do, but then you can potentially meet more people too that way with the group situation, and then
Yeah,
those people you might end up training.
Brenda
the kids.
has a daughter that has a kid that wants to get into sports performance, and a grandmother that needs to get functional again and get off the couch.
That's kind of how it goes.
So that's true too.
Kind of becoming. Yeah, but you're saying the same thing with meeting people. It's just your way of expanding your network, and I think it's just another way of doing it. Just offering some different services, and if you're new to the game, probably do anything and everything you can. And somebody wants to train, and they got to bring 3 of their kids in with them. It's like, sure, do it.
Fish with multiple poles, There
it is.
That's the too, though. You just got to make it happen. Sometimes you got to do more than you want to and make yourself uncomfortable. Yeah. But I think something good comes out of challenging yourself. Like, everybody wants to be comfortable, but those people, where do they get? Nowhere. So you got to kind of embrace that uncomfortableness too. Get out there and do it.
Embrace the darkness is what you're saying.
Embrace the darkness.
All right, man.
That's 4 Jocko comments at the end. Anything else?
One thing.
What?
Intrinsic versus extrinsic.
Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. So intrinsic motivation is like internalized motivation. So it's yourself pushing yourself, whereas the intrinsic is you pushing me. What about it?
Music, stuff like that. What do you think? Tell you what.
I think sometimes I'm too reliant on extrinsic motivation because I want to bump metal or gangster rap, whereas
you think you get
Arnold
too jacked up?
Sometimes, probably.
Puts a little caffeine in the mix in the beginning.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
How to get you going?
We should have got lattes.
Best workout I had lately.
No music, no caffeine.
You
had caffeine, don't lie.
I had caffeine.
Yeah,
but it was just me in here.
Yeah. I honestly like working out by myself.
I turned the music off and that was it.
Yeah.
Just hanging out.
You know what I really like? Sometimes but that's still extra motivation. I like listening to YouTube videos, like Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
Or Tony Robbins, get him in the background, or Jocko Wilkins, or David Goggins. You get a little Goggins in the background. Tell me that doesn't want you to put in that work, bro.
No, it doesn't.
It makes me want to get amped.
Yeah.
It makes me want to do something.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, we're different, though.
2 different people, 2 different responses to things. But kids coming in saying, "Hey, I need that. I need to listen to that." What'd you have going last night? Cats in the Cradle.
Oh yeah, Cat Steven, Cats in the Cradle with the Silver Spoon.
Some of these high school kids,
great song, by the way, but they're like, "Oh man, I can't work out today.
How am I supposed to do something with this song?"
I need this money.
You're challenging them. You're making them uncomfortable. You're putting them in a tough spot, different environment.
I should probably do that more.
Make them perform in
the worst situation, because then they could definitely do it in the best situation.
Boom. Game over.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Game over, guys. Hope you have
best
a great
podcast
day.
to date.